let's take a look at Construct and then give us a get started on making a quick, very basic platformer game. So go to construct.net and click to launch the guided tour. Once we're in, we're going to click new. There is actually, it's worth mentioning, there is loads of stuff here that shows you what you can do in Construct, and these things you can open them and take a look and mess around with them. They're really good for looking, learning, seeing what's there, seeing what this piece of software can do. So in your spare time, whatever, I'd recommend playing that, taking a look. New. So click new project. All of this is fine for us for now. As I said, we're keeping it basic. We don't need to worry about too much stuff. We're not doing any pixel art today. Let's just go create. Once we're in, this is what your construct layout will look like. You can move up and down by using the scroll wheel, or you can use these bits along here. You can, if you press Control, you can roll to zoom in and out, which is also useful, very handy as our levels get bigger and bigger. These dots along here are what's called our viewports, or our viewport outline. So when we click up here to preview our game, that's what we're seeing, and that'll become more obvious as we sort of fill it up with more than this sort of blank background. You've also got your debug layout as a drop down here. This debug layout is really good for once our game's got stuff going on, for checking what's happening, checking if items are where they should be, checking if things are behaving properly in game, checking that the numbers are all adding up correct, all of that sort of stuff. You've got your properties down here with different properties. What's really good is here it's got the name of what's called our layout here, which is like our stage, our area. This is where all our levels are going to go, all our bits and pieces. The event sheet then is sort of what the rules of that area is going to be, what we're going to say is happening in there, what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do. Sort of like your script or your more traditional sort of coding, that's what you want to be thinking. So it's sort of like, this is what it's going to look like, this is where we're going to play, these are the rules that are going to tell you how to operate and use that stuff. You can fiddle with the size, all sorts of add effects, all kinds of things. For us, what's going to be useful today, show grid and snap to grid, and that'll allow objects we add to snap and move to those grids. If we go down, we've got project properties here as well, which gives you sort of more settings again, but as I said, we don't need to worry too much about that today. The other thing that's useful, your project, this is everything that's in your project, and if you imagine as your game continues to get bigger and bigger, we're going to have more layouts, more sheets for those layouts, so different levels, menus, things like that, objects, our player, enemies, platforms, all of that. And then, yeah, if you're going to take it further, you could add sounds, music, that kind of thing. Layers is a very important thing to think about. So if you imagine we're looking at this from a top-down perspective, imagine we were looking at it on a table and it was layers of glass. We would see below each layer, and what's on different layers is really important. So if you imagine we might have our background right at the back, that might be our background layer. Then we might have a player layer, which is where everything that's happening in the game. And if we went further, we might have things like our UI, so things like HUD, health, things like that. That would be on the top layer, because we wouldn't want the background getting in the way of how much health we've got. We wouldn't want a tree in front of it or something like that. So that's your basic overview. Okay, so the main thing, you double click to start adding stuff to your game. It brings up all the options of different things you want. In the next video, we're going to add a sprite, we're going to get it moving around, and we're going to get it functioning like a game.